Hi, welcome to A Couple of Thought Podcast. We are your hosts, Chaya and
Elimelech.
Avers. Oh God, are we Avers or Evers?
Or Avers.
Depends where we live. Together, we will be discussing our passions for food, politics,
Judaism and marriage.
Yeah, exciting. So join us for our podcast and you will be blown away by our
Couple of thoughts.
בוקר על האור, על עצם היותי, מודה אני עליכם, שהנחת לשולחני, שלא אהיה רעב,
All right, welcome everybody to episode 4 of
Couple of Thought podcast.
Yes, we have not been on for a while, only because we're busy, not because we're fighting.
No, and not because we don't want to.
Right.
The last time was Rosh Hashanah, was it?
I don't know, Sukkot maybe?
Somewhere around there.
We can't remember. It means
That's
it's been
too
a long
long.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we are so glad to be here today, friends, and we have so much to share. We have a full schedule of opinions and thoughts, and we're ready to get right to it. Right now, how does our house smell?
Smells like burned bagels.
Burnt bagels. Well, being that we always begin talking about food, our favorite thing in the world, sorry, next to each other, of course.
Food.
Yeah, so bagels. Before we get anything deeper bagels, what happened to the last batch of bagels?
They got burned. We're talking too much.
Yeah, it's really devastating because they really are delicious bagels. They are New York bagels, the kind that you boil.
Kettle boiled.
Exactly. And then you bake it, and they have like this certain like chewy,
Crispy.
yeah, everything, and soft interior.
Yeah, the best.
The best bagels in the world.
We always eat too many of them.
Yeah, exactly. But right now,
We're limited, so...
so for those of you coming to eat bagels tomorrow, I mean, not anybody, God forbid, it's COVID now. Like, no one's coming to our house tomorrow.
No Chanukah party tomorrow.
Chas v'shalom, no Chanukah party. Sorry, we keep it to 4 adults max, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the last batch burnt, but Melech said he likes burnt bagels, so you can eat them all.
I'm going to have to eat all of them.
Okay.
You remember one time when we were in New York Bagel in Manhattan, I think. I don't remember what we went to do. Maybe, how's that place called that you play with the tokens?
Oh, Dave and Buster's.
Dave and
We
Buster's.
went to do arcades and fun stuff in the city.
Yeah, Manhattan. And then we're like, oh, we're hungry. Let's see what's still open. And we went to the bagel place in Manhattan. That was open 24/7.
Yeah, it was in the Upper East Side, and it was a very interesting bagel place.
That was open 20. I think it was
Kosher
called David Bagels or something. I don't remember what it was called. But anyways, we decided to have a funky flavor cream cheese bagel.
Strawberry flavored cream cheese.
Kyla loved it.
No,
It was spoiled.
we were like, no. Mel
It
was
was
like, ooh,
rancid.
let's try that flavor. It looks interesting. Strawberry bagel. Never mind, it was like 2:00 in the morning. So we're sitting outside on that bench, and we're like tasting all the flavors that we got, and we bite into this strawberry flavored cream cheese, and it was rotten. It was off. It had gone bad.
Yeah, it's gone rancid.
Yeah, it was not very tasty. Yeah. But Melech, you share first and then I'll share. What's your favorite bagel situation? Like, how do you like it? Poppy seeds, sesame seeds, everything bagel, garlic bagel. What do you like inside? Share the deets.
I like white bagels with the everything topping on top.
Like, what's everything? You want to share?
That's like, I don't know, poppy seeds.
Sesame seeds.
Sesame, garlic.
Sugar, salt flakes.
Salt, yeah, like it's everything.
A mixture of everything, yeah.
And then with cream cheese, tuna, and avocado. I think that's my favorite. And something spicy. Spicy tuna. Make it spicy tuna.
Avocado and cream cheese. Okay.
And yours?
That sounds really yummy. My favorite bagel is from Buncho Bagels in New York. I think it closed down. They had a fire. Maybe they're opening up again. But everything bagel also, with on one side cream cheese. But I don't like a thick layer that like you feel like you're just eating cream cheese. They usually like put like a huge. I always be like thin it down. What's it going? So a layer of cream cheese and guacamole, red onion.
A tomato that you won't eat.
And a tomato that maybe I'll take out, but like I like the juice of the tomato. And then that's it. That's my favorite bagel. But I do have to say that one time I ordered it and the guy behind the counter was like, you're serious? Avocado with cream cheese? That's gross. And I was
sorry.
like, excuse me, that's what I'm ordering. That's what I'm going to eat. And it's so yummy. But yeah.
But I can enjoy scrambled egg with cream cheese on a bagel also.
Yeah. And there's
That's
also
tomato.
Kingston Avenue Bagel Shop. When we were in high school, they used to make hash browns, like these spicy potatoes inside a bagel. Oh my gosh. My friend
That was
Leor
like more like a
Hoffinger, if you're
breakfast.
listening, Leor Ellie Rohn, you used to bring it to school and you used to share it. You were good at sharing your potato bagel. I remember. Oh, those were good.
Yeah.
But like, I would never order it now. I don't know.
I remember in Crown Heights you can get like a breakfast and it has
breakfast
like a bagel
bagel.
with those
Spicy potatoes.
and an egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yummy. But maybe we should share with our audience how to make everything spice, because you could buy it in Trader Joe's in New York, like everything bagel spice, but it's actually quite easy to make. You buy a jar of minced garlic. You buy sesame seeds, poppy seeds, and flaked Maldon salt, which you could get in the Umbo actually. Maldon salt.
You can get it in any store.
I know, but I'm saying Maldon salt is really special flaky salt. And then you just combine all of those
In one
together
jar.
in one jar and you mix it up. I would put less poppy seeds than everything else because they take over. Mix it all together and you could sprinkle it on top of your bread.
It goes
You
great
could-
on challah also.
On challah, on anything. It tastes good on tahina, like sprinkled on top. It's just like a really nice mixture of
You know which
spices.
nice topping is also onion topping. I also like
Oh
that.
yeah, onion bagels are also good. Yeah. Onion rolls. Remember those? That like inside you open it up, it's
inside
like
is very onion.
creamy onions. Yeah,
Yeah.
we grew up on those. Onion buns. Yum. Yeah. Did we talk about food yet? Did you guys get hungry? You all want to come over now and have some bagels in our house?
Well,
Well,
maybe
it's
we
not
should-
allowed. Machnit.
Anyways, that's for the food for today, no?
Yeah, we always start with food because it's our
Yeah.
it's our second love.
It's our favorite.
Actually, it's our third because our kids are like we love each other, our kids, and then food. Right?
Yeah.
Don't get scared off. Like we're not largim. Are we largim?
Yeah. Stam lachit.
One time we had a guest, and I told the guest that I was pregnant, and he said,
It was Israeli guy.
"Yeah," and he said, "Oh, stam chashavti ashet stam largit," which for those who don't speak Hebrew, oh, I just thought you were a biggie, which I am, but never mind. It was just funny. All right, all right. We talked about food, and now we are so excited. We forgot to start off with the
Chanukah.
Happy Chanukah, everybody.
That's right.
Could be you'll listen to this after Chanukah.
But it is still Chanukah for us.
But if I'm
One-
savvy, we'll upload it tonight when it's still Hanukkah.
Yeah. Or tomorrow night. It's also still going to be Chanukah.
Right, but you guys might listen to it after Hanukkah. But the spirit of the light of Hanukkah
8 days.
could reach you even when it's not Hanukkah anymore.
And that's it. But yeah, it was a very nice Chanukah. I liked it. Was so far so good. It was very nice, easy, relaxed. Kids liked it. They enjoyed it.
Hmm.
We had the first time a Chanukah parade in Amsterdam.
That was really
That
fun.
was really cool.
We joined the first ever Amsterdam Hanukkah menorah parade.
Yeah.
It was really fun driving through the streets and waving to everybody from the window and
Honking.
honking my horn really hard. I felt so important.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody liked it, but the more people didn't like it, the harder I was honking.
Yeah, so that was very nice. And the dam, you actually weren't able to come because one of our kids
were
was
sick, but you went. How
I
was
went.
it?
It was very, very nice. I didn't expect so many people. It was a lot of people. I think like 400 or 500 people came.
Wow.
It was a bit difficult with the social distancing. But yeah, it was very nice. That's impressive. Shout out to my brother Menachem, who's been arranging it for 15 years. It was
Oh,
the
wow. 15th year.
Yeah, anniversary. So they started way before we moved to Holland because soon, maybe by next podcast, we will talk about it more.
Yes, it
Our-
is our 10-year
Anniver-
Holland-versary.
Yeah.
And for anyone who celebrates Valentine's Day, chas v'shalom, we moved to Holland on Valentine's Day. So
Yeah.
February 14th, mark your calendars, 10 years that Eli Melch and Chaya live in Holland. So
Yeah.
it is our Holland-versary,
Yeah.
Nederversary,
Amsterversary.
Amsterversary. Yeah.
So but that's Hanukkah, yeah, and the light. Let's hope we can take the light. There's so much darkness in the world, so much craziness that we can light up the world a little bit
Yeah.
with the menorah, with taking that light
Yeah.
the rest of the year. It'd be nice.
And you know what? As I was reading Viktor Frankl this Shabbos, it really inspired me to realize that all problems that come our way, we also have choices. We have choices to make this world right. The book is actually right in front of me, Man's Search for Meaning. We always have a choice. We can blame our circumstances or our situations on governments and sciences and all kinds of things. Oh, this could probably go into our next topic that we're going to be discussing soon. But really, at the end of the day, we have freedom of choice to change the narrative, to change how we're feeling about the situation, and to maybe not comply, Elimelech.
Or to comply partly.
Or just to make the best of it. And that's our choice. You can be in jail and still a free person. So it really inspired me. And I feel like that message of Chanukah is also like to spread the light and to spread the light of yeah.
Maybe we'll circle back on that and soon when we get to what we're going to be talking in politics.
Yeah.
About how like darkness, how light, a little bit of light can push away a lot of darkness.
Yeah.
And
a little
because
bit
I
of
feel
rule
that there's
breaking.
a lot of darkness right now I will get to it soon. But that was for Chanukah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, I've been thinking about the Torah portion, actually, as a teacher who teaches the Torah portion every single week. I think as an adult, you come across more ethical questions, morality questions that you wouldn't come to as a child. You really receive the Torah in a very fantastical, magical way, especially if you have such an amazing teacher like myself.
But we also don't get all those details.
Right. No.
A teacher chooses what details to tell or whatever you're learning. It's pretty basic, but then
Age
once
appropriate,
you're older and you learn it yourself, there's other
like you start to rationalize the stories of the Torah. And I actually shout out to my friend Sarah Hecht, because we've been having this conversation a few weeks back, and we were saying the same thing. Like when you read about Yosef's brothers selling him
because of jealousy,
and you're like, they're adults, they're officially like the 12 tribes, they were holy righteous men, how could they do this? I mean, actually, one of our kids answered that question this week, because she said that from when Yosef was sold until they came to Egypt, like 30 years later, 20 plus years later, they hadn't sinned again. So they knew that when troubles were coming upon them in Egypt from the leader Joseph, they started to think, do we need to do atonement for anything?
It must be that we're getting punished now for what we did bad back then.
For what we did back then to Joseph, to our brother, Joseph, whatever you want to call it. And you could say, but people do a lot of sins in 20 years. How did they know specifically this sin? It was because they were righteous men, and this was their biggest downfall in the last 20 years. So I commented to you, what did I say? I think that if I sold my brother, I would also remember it
for 20 years
later. 20 years later.
But I was actually speaking to our rabbi about this past week. And
which rabbi? Rabbi Stanton. We always talk about him in our podcast.
That it was that we also sometimes learn how not to do stuff. Like we can be, we learn a lot of good lessons from the Torah, but here we can see something, how not to be jealous, how even when you are jealous about somebody, you don't have to right away sell him or quote unquote kill him, because that's what they're really planning to do.
Think about it in our own society, in our community and things like that. Sometimes out of jealousy, people sell other people out. People, what about like people calling on other people to authorities?
No, I understand that.
That's the same idea. I mean, we're all Jewish brothers and sisters. How could we sell each other out, right? How could we do that to another Jew?
So that you're pointing out to somebody else, but look at yourself. Are you jealous of somebody? But like, even if you are jealous, is it that bad that you would
go and sell them out?
Yeah.
Not really, but some people are like that. Maybe.
And those people can learn from the brothers what not to do.
What not to do, exactly. Because in the end of the day, you all have to face the king. Yeah. In this story, they had to face their brother, the king. But at 120, we have to face the king of all kings, the holy of holy, God himself. So, yeah. But I don't know. Where do you think jealousy stems from?
By thinking that what they have, you want. And then you think if you are jealous of them, then maybe, or you'll bring them down, then you will gain, which is never the truth.
Maybe it's like more of like a victim mentality. Like we were discussing over Shabbos, the difference between like, psychotherapy, which is more like trying to figure out what triggered you to be who you are today, and all that like personality analyzation of your past, present, and future. And like going so deep about it that you sometimes forget the whole picture, that you're just a human being, and you're responsible for your actions, right? But I don't know where I'm getting at with this.
That's and then you can blame that.
Yeah, you could blame a reason why you're acting a certain way, but we're all responsible for our actions. And I think if we are feeling resentful, if we are feeling jealous, we need to look deep inside and say, you know what? Yes, why, and analyze, but also like, let me make a change. Let me not be jealous. Let me just be happy with what I have. And if I'm struggling with that, ask for help. Like, I don't know, people
Go psychoanalyze.
No, what I'm saying is like, or find things in your own life that bring you so much joy that you don't have to be jealous. You don't have to bring pain or wish pain upon another because you're content. You're okay with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're not, then go look for things that do make you happy.
Yeah, exactly. But jealousy is deeper. It's that you want a specific thing because that person has it. And you're upset that another person has success because it's not your success. It's like, it's a little bit like,
Yeah, but
it's actually like a really bad mida jealousy if you think of it.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to overcome. I mean, I think we've all experienced in our life at one point, especially I think when you're younger, it's easier to be jealous.
Yeah, but even if you are jealous right now of someone that has a situation, however bad it's gonna be, your jealousy, at least in my opinion, you're not gonna be that jealous that you're gonna burn their car because you like their car better than the car you have. Okay, fine for them. You know what I'm saying?
When I was in SEM, there was a girl who won a raffle ticket to go to New York as a representative from our SEM, and I don't know who did it, but there was someone who was jealous that she won, and the night she was supposed to fly, she had her passport on her bed, and her passport disappeared. She couldn't fly to New York. They looked everywhere. They turned over every nook and cranny. It was gone.
They didn't find it?
No, but in the end, there was someone in the SEM who was a kleptomaniac. I don't know. We didn't figure out who it was. And apparently that person must have stolen the passport because they were just so jealous that they didn't win. Yeah, I don't know who, but...
But anyways, I think in this case, in this scenario, we can.
That was a
learn
random
how not
story
to
that
do
came
it.
into my head.
Yeah, about jealousy.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that was I think our religion part. No.
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't know, listeners, what do you guys think about jealousy? How do you think it manifests in your life? How do you react in such situations? Email us at acoupleofthoughts2008@gmail.com. We want to hear what you have to say on the matter.
Your opinion.
Or if you have our WhatsApp, you could always WhatsApp us. Yeah?
Yep.
We
Or
should
when
make
you
a
see
special phone number called A Couple Thoughts
Yeah.
phone number. 1-800 A Couple of Thoughts.
All right. Then we'll go to politics because maybe even if we do usually relationship first, we'll go to politics first because then at least with relationship we can end up on a nice note.
Yeah, because politics is heavy.
I think it's gonna.
Well, me and Elimelech talking about marriage, we're having a little bit of a disagreement. He doesn't want to go deep into politics because he likes when everything is rosy, cozy, and nice. And I think that it's time that we talk and
About
we say what
COVID.
we really think about COVID. And
we might get canceled though.
I don't think so because I think that most people that I know could agree or some of the things that we're saying could resonate somewhat. And if not, just know that even if we have a different opinion, we can still find places in our life where we could respect, enjoy, and love and care for each other, even if we don't agree. So that being said,
We're still good people.
Melech, did you get COVID?
Yes, I did.
How many months ago?
It was more. It's almost 2 years actually, but it's at least more than a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And I had antibodies test done on January. I had COVID in April 2020. I had a COVID test done in January 2021, and then again in August 2021. And both of those tests came back that I have very high antibodies. And even though that here in Holland, the quote-unquote rule or the request is that you get one shot, even if you had COVID, I do really not see the benefit of that at all. And I will not. For now, I have said like this. I'm not against the vaccines. I think for people that are overweight or have underlying illnesses, they should absolutely, or older people, they should absolutely get vaccinated.
Or people who didn't have COVID?
Or people that didn't have COVID. I would totally understand and I would totally support them in any way, shape, or form. But for people that already have COVID, the research in science, Mr. Fauci, that have come through that you are well protected when you had, even with different variants. That's number one. So I think I'm pretty well
yeah, but what about that one person
But
somewhere in
hold on,
Yehuppitz
hold
who
on,
did
hold
get
on a
COVID
second.
more than once?
Okay, and that's exactly my second point. That even if I would get it again, the likelihood, this time I had it not easy, but it wasn't terrible. I had high fever for one night, and then it went down, and I was fine. I don't think I would get it any worse. or even if I do get, I'm saying I'm a young, healthy person. I eat healthy. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I think I'll be fine. Even if I do get COVID, I will not be taking up an ICU spot, even though that I think most people don't think that. But the likelihood for me, my age, with my health, is very unlikely. So just to take a vaccine, just to be sure, for me, I don't think it's necessary. Besides that, I have antibodies. Even if I get it again, I think for me it's not necessary. And I think one step further, I think I should get a green pass in the Dutch Corona app and be able to get into everywhere I want to, because I am very likely more protected with my natural anti-immune than with most people that are vaccinated twice. I probably have a higher antibody count than they do. So now, Rabbitson, Mrs. Evers, did you have COVID?
Yes, I did. I had COVID the same time that you had COVID. I had maybe symptoms for one day where I just felt like a little bit chara-ish. Am I allowed to say that word?
Yeah.
Not so...
You're like a little feverish.
Yeah, not so amazing. I did lose my smell and taste for like a few days, and that was
Till
it.
the Maror came.
Till the Maror came on Pesach, and then we knew it was back.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't so terrible. Staying home with my kids and all that lockdown was interesting experience. The first time was funner than the second time, I have to admit. But I also checked in January last year, almost a year ago, and I had very high antibodies, higher than you.
The first time, yeah.
I didn't test in August. I should have, but I'm guessing that I also have still a lot. I'm going to go check again next time I'm in New York because it's free there. And
that's something else that I find very strange, that here in Holland they don't test, because if you give everybody 6 months, same way as the shots are basically valid for 6 months, and after 6 months you need to get a third shot, which they call a booster. They should be able to, that costs money. Just give me a blood test every 6 months, and if my antibodies are below a certain level, say, okay, then I will get a vaccine because I'm not protected. That's besides the fact that maybe we're going into too much details. The T cells, which is the memory of your basically for your immune system, if I'm correct, if a doctor listens and says, oh, it's not true, from the research I have done, that the T cells also have a memory, and if they would recognize the corona, they would also fight it, even if I don't have antibodies.
So this is the thing, that people keep saying, who do you think you are to have an opinion? Are you a doctor? Are you a scientist? Are you a virologist? No, we're not. We're humans. We have brains. We're able to read the same textbooks, the same medical journals, the same researches, and the same studies that doctors are reading and studying. We are able to, and we have much more access to this information nowadays. And I'm not talking about going down the rabbit hole, conspiracy theories, plain out research, science, opinion. We actually had a friend over who's a virologist, we will not name, and he was very, very pro-vaccine to the extent that he thought anyone who gets COVID and wasn't vaccinated shouldn't be helped in the hospital. That's how pro-vaccine he was. And when we told him he had COVID, he said, according to, he's a virologist? No. Biologist, but he studied a lot of virology.
In the hospital.
And he said very, very clearly that it doesn't make any sense that a person who had COVID should need to take the vaccine because we have the same things in us that a vaccine would give us. Yeah. So that was like not the only thing that convinced me. So right now I'm not vaccinated, but I probably will vaccinate very soon because I have to go to Israel. So
if that's even going to happen.
Yeah. So, but we always said that if it comes to a point that we really have to, unfortunately we will, even though my nature is a little bit to be a rebel and to go demonstrate and to get arrested and
No, that's not true.
maybe get a record, you know what I mean? But no, I really feel that in this situation, like even the fact that we're talking about this in a public forum, maybe it's not the smartest idea. Maybe it can get us in trouble. Maybe people will feel that we're not being responsible.
We'll get canceled.
But I just feel at this point, we're almost 2 years into this. It's time for us to really say what we think. We shouldn't be afraid to say what our opinion is. Don't you agree?
Yep, I agree.
I will not be canceled. I will not comply.
If we do get canceled.
I don't like the aspect where there's coercion, meaning I'm being forced to do it because I don't have access to X, Y, Z, blah, blah, right? This could actually really get me into trouble for a lot of reasons. Maybe we shouldn't publish this.
But no, it's okay. We haven't said anything crazy. It's just it's the difference between, do we give all our trust in government, or do we at some point also have a mind of our own, and that we're allowed to have a mind of our own, or do we say no, this is a collective thing? Just close your eyes, give me your arm, jab it in, and if that's every 6 months, then give me every 6 months. But I have a lot of people that I spoke to that have gotten 2 vaccines, but they said no, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna get a jab every 6 months to stay up to the level. Yeah, number one. And number two, I have so many people in the past months that have had 2 and even 3 vaccines and still got COVID. Maybe they got it in a lower version or less severe,
yeah.
But they did get COVID even after 2 or 3, and you cannot blame that on the people that didn't get vaccinated, because that's ridiculous.
Because also the percentage is very low. And I also have a problem is that, here in the Netherlands, they say, oh, the ICU, there's 600 people in the ICU in the whole Netherlands. 600 people. Let's say there's 75 hospitals. That's 5 people in every hospital are in an ICU. Yes, it's terrible. But I want to go look at the numbers. I was trying to find it. How many people were in the ICU 2 years ago for the flu or for other illnesses? That's very low. We're shutting down a whole country for literally a very, very, it's not even a percentage. It's not even a percentage.
Yeah, I think when they were shutting it down, when it was the first time around, that they didn't know how it was going, this and that, then I understand it. Now I think they should have already caught up. And I actually heard in the news now recently that they are trying to maybe to make COVID hospitals that are flexible, like when there's an influx of infections, to open it up
go there
and close it down. And find more people that can assist us in hospitals. Because if you think about it, obviously, we don't want anybody to die, and we don't want anybody and everybody that wants to get the vaccine or wants to get the boosters, go
should be
get
able
it.
To get it as much as they want.
Yeah, 100%. But those people that don't want to take it and want to take the risk, it's up to them. And if you're saying, yeah, but then also putting other people at risk, yeah, but we do that with everything. We drive, and that's a risk involved. We fly, there's a risk involved. When people go skiing, and there's a risk involved. And also, there's a lot of people end up in the hospital. I heard a Belgium, I think it was a virologist, I'm not sure, it was or someone that works in the ICU in Belgium. He says if we would cut out alcohol out of our society, the amount of people that would not be ending up in ICU would also be cut with an enormous amount of percent. I don't remember the exact percent. Because people, they get drunk every Saturday night, and then or a few times a day, and they fall and they break something.
Yeah, but this whole also opinion that, if you're not vaccinated and you end up in the ICU, then no, the doctors should refuse you because you should have vaccinated. Okay, besides for the fact that most of the people ending up now in the hospitals are people who are
No, there's still more.
No,
I don't think so. I think still the people that are unvaccinated are more than unvaccinated. But I don't think that really matters, because that's their own choice. They're allowed to. It's their own body.
Right, but it's like choice. A doctor saying, I won't help lung cancer patients if they smoked. I won't help obese people who have a heart attack because they're obese. They shouldn't have been obese. I mean, that's the doctor's job. They sign an oath to be there for patients, regardless of the choices, whether it's bad choices. I mean, an addict, right? Do we throw him to the street every time he's having an overdose? No. We give him CPR. We give him that, what's it called again? That thing that restarts his heart or whatever. Mm-hmm. We service people who are sick, regardless of their bad choices or their risk factors and all those things included. And I just feel like we're not allowed to even say these opinions, because then we're considered like anti-science, which is so not true, because like everything we're saying, we're not making it up. We're not preaching.
Well, if you're looking at science, the facts are I have antibodies. Mm-hmm. I have very high antibodies. That's science. Give me the give me the green pass. But that's not followed. They're saying, no, now you need to get a jab. And once that is not followed, science, then I'm starting to think, 1 second, is there financial gain involved over here? Right. Or is it a cookie cut for all, which also doesn't make sense. So if you're saying you're following science, then someone that has antibodies should be able to test for antibodies and should be able to get a green pass just like everybody else.
Exactly. But something interesting you said before about Netherlands opening COVID hospitals for when there's an influx, I think that's a really smart idea. That's a practical solution for the problem instead of shutting down your country 6 months a year. And that's why I'm saying the whole time, a vaccine shouldn't be your only solution for a pandemic. There should be so many other factors at play.
There are actually.
But first of all, there are therapeutics out there that work. Your mother was in the hospital. She got before medicine. ICU, she got medicine. And as soon as she got the medicine,
Within 2-3 days,
Yeah,
it
she was
started
better.
to kick in.
They have the monoclonal antibody infusions that literally washes COVID out of your system. We know people, my parents' friends, over 70 years old, who got COVID. They took those infusions. Within 24 hours, they were symptom-free. It's not a made-up thing. These are real things that work. And the other stuff like ivermectin, like horse dewormer, I'm joking, from that, what's his name, Joe Rogan speaks about, and hydroxychloroquine. So those things are not necessarily like...
They're not proven. Okay, fine.
Medicines that really help COVID patients per se, but it's in the time that they were being given, it was working for some patients. So I'm not talking about those, but I'm talking about the monoclonal antibody infusions, steroids, those things. They're really, really helping. Why are they not being used? And if they are being used, so then why are we so worried?
Yeah.
Like if they're helping, if you come right away when you have symptoms and you take care of them, I don't see why.
Another point which
we're not focusing on medicine.
Yeah, a point that bothered me from the beginning is that before even Corona was here in Holland, we were already saying, vaccines is the only solution. Well, why did they only go and bet on that horse when they should have done two things? Because, I go for the vaccine for the people that want vaccine and get a medicine because the amount of people that would need the medicine that end up in hospital or maybe in the ICU, you would have a medicine and you would focus on that just as much as the vaccine. You would have the vaccine ready for that, and then also the medicine for those people that do end up, because now you're seeing even people with vaccines end up in the hospital.
Exactly.
So then you also need medicine. So I think they
regardless, we need medicine. Yeah.
And a lot of medicine already do help.
Yeah. So I do have to say, hydroxychloroquine is a medicine that's been used for people with one of those things that you get in Africa.
Malaria or something?
Yeah, a malaria. And also, I know I have a family member who used hydroxychloroquine for arthritis. Yeah. Actually, she was personally allergic to it, but nothing to do with whatever. But it's a very, very mild and safe medicine.
Very common and already used for many years.
So, exactly, for years it's been used. And all of a sudden now it became like this dangerous medicine. Seriously, it's like saying Advil is dangerous. Like, we've been using Advil for years, right? So I just have to say personally that my father... he had COVID really bad, and my mother was in the hospital with COVID, and it was a really, really frightening time. I hope it's okay, Tal, that I'm sharing this on a public forum, but he was home. We were all around the world, wherever we were. We all had COVID. We were all home.
And we couldn't go by.
And nobody could visit him because he had COVID, and everyone was worried about him that night. No one could reach him. He wasn't picking up the phone. But when I was in New York in August, in January, he told me that night he felt so sick. He thought he was going to die. That's how bad he felt. But he managed to get a doctor to write him a prescription for hydroxychloroquine, and he sent someone to go and bring him
and more. He got also
with zinc and vitamin C. And he said he took it, and he lay down in his bed, and he thought, this is the last night of my life, and I don't even care because I feel so sick that I just want to die because I feel like I'm dying. That's how bad he felt, like on his deathbed. He took the hydroxychloroquine with zinc and vitamin C, and he went to sleep. He said the next morning he woke up, he had no fever, and he felt
symptoms-free,
completely much better. Like, I mean, I think he still was feeling a little weak, but he was like completely feeling better, much better than he did the night before. And he says he thinks it saves his life. So, I mean, listen, I don't know. I'm not going to advocate for it because it's not like 100% proven or anything like that. But I could say from a personal experience that it did help him. And
it helped a lot of people. And that's what I was trying to tell you before. And that's where we're circling back to is the darkness. And we see a lot of darkness when we're talking about COVID because there's no
end to it. It doesn't end. No end to lockdowns, regulations.
Yeah, but there's also no MS, like no truth involved. When nobody's looking for the truth, not nobody, but when a lot of people are not looking for truth, just take the vaccine and that's it. That's
it also became political. Since when should medicine be political?
Yeah.
Like we you think we want to have COVID in the world? We want people to catch COVID? No, God forbid. We want to be done with this.
Is only vaccines.
Exactly.
And that's what I think that I hope that the light of Chanukah will give us some
hope.
Hope and light to the world where so much darkness, a little bit of light can push away a lot of
darkness.
That's
why I really liked having the Chanukah menorah parade because we were driving through the streets and there was a menorah supposed to be a menorah lighting by the Gelderlandplein that they have every single year. Rabbi Spiro organizes it with his wife. And this year they had to cancel it because after 5 o'clock, all stores are closed and their event was for 5 o'clock. So, and obviously, you don't want so many people in one place, social distancing and all the, ramifications that come with it. And it was in a very small space. So they had to cancel it. So it was like such a Debbie Downer to have to cancel. So that's why I really liked driving around with our menorahs to bring the light of Chanukah to all the people on the street.
Yeah.
And it felt special to be able to do that, even though the event was canceled. So.
That event, but we did it, and hopefully next year we'll have, instead of I think 13 cars, we'll have double 23 cars.
Everybody, go order your car menorahs today at carmenorahs.com.
and get what's called. So we'll go to the last topic.
The last topic today. So guys, I hope that wasn't too heavy for you, but I want to encourage everybody to really think in a critical manner. Open up your minds to the possibility that there is other options, and we could have a voice. I'm sure there's local legislators in our communities that we can email and share and voice our opinions, because the more we voice our opinions, the more it will be heard. And I'm not talking about going to demonstrate, though it's very tempting to my youthful kindred spirit, but I do have a job and kids. I don't want to end up in prison because I could get very passionate when I'm upset. So I probably won't go out to any demonstrations. You won't see me there. And also I don't necessarily agree with everything that demonstrators are demonstrating about.
I really much disagree with using any power of force against police or anything. I think that's
and also
very wrong,
violence is wrong as well.
They're doing their job, and if the police says it's time to go, it's time to go. When they say it's moving time,
we will not comply.
Yeah, you will.
We will not comply. I need to get one of those T-shirts that say "We will not comply." No, but anyways, so the activist in me is telling me we need to start writing letters and emails and bringing awareness, especially for you guys sitting out there that had COVID. Like we should have a voice. We have the virus, and we shouldn't have to be coerced into doing something that we're not necessarily 100% comfortable with,
or have to really.
That we don't. It's not necessary for us. That's really what it is. It's really not necessary. So,
anyways,
now with our opinions laid out, before we guys get canceled, we want to share with you the very sweet story of how
we met
and Elimelech met. So, for those of you who come from our background, you might know a little bit about the shidduch system. And for those who don't, we're going to share with you a little bit about what a shidduch is. So, go.
Basically, in everything in life, you have the positive and negative way of looking at it. But the negative way of saying it is that we were set up, and it's like pre-arranged marriage. But that's not really what it is and what it was. It's basically two people that know two people, or there's family members. They have professional matchmakers, and in our case, it was family members that knew Chaya and knew me, and they got together and they're like, "Oh, let's see if it's a match." And then they set us up. We got each other's phone number, but because there was already kind of like a background check done, there is an advantage to that than meeting a random person at a bar or on the street or for whatever place it is where you have no idea what their background is. And over here, you have already a kind of like a baseline that you know that that's okay.
So
and
I do think meeting someone on the street is a very romantic thing if the story works out.
Yeah, obviously, no. I'm saying any marriage that works out is very romantic, but I'm saying that is the way it was set up, and by us it was set up by my brother and Chaya's sister, who were both working at a girls' camp in Montreal, in upstate Montreal,
North Montreal.
Yeah, upstate Canada.
Quebec.
North Quebec.
Yeah, Val-David, Quebec.
Yeah, where they actually were both working, and my brother and my sister-in-law.
My sister, Dini.
Yes.
She's the director of a camp, and your brother was working in the camp.
Yeah, and they basically...
And I was working in the camp, too.
The second one. Basically, let's take the background story for a second. It's funny. My mother asked my brother if there's anybody in camp, because it's an all-girls camp, if there's any girls that would be fitting for my brother. But it's
for you.
For me, sorry. Yeah. And then my brother looked around the first month, and I actually remember speaking to him and saying, "Oh, so did you see anybody?" He's like, "No, it's a very, very Orthodox camp, and the girls here are not the kind of girls that you're looking for." So I said, "Okay, fine. What do I care?" So anyways, I moved on, and then...
What do you mean very Orthodox? It's like a typical Chabad camp.
Yeah, but like...
It's like a very, very strong, like...
Yeah, it's a bit extremist.
Not extremist.
Yeah, they only listen to, what's it called? to certain music. Yeah, they're a little bit extreme. Okay, it's your sister.
Dini, don't listen to this part.
So anyways, it didn't the first month didn't work out, but then my brother said, but maybe in the second month there'll be other girls, because they switch first month, second month, and then maybe we'll see. And that's where you came in the picture, Chaya. You can say this part.
Okay, so I was working in the summer camp for 1 month.
Second month. Actually, you came by.
I visited the first month, and I
Yes.
did meet Eli Melch's brother Yassi and his sister-in-law Mary. And I would like totally hit it off with them. And I had a really fun time with them. And then they thought, well, we'll get to know her the second month, and maybe she is a good idea for our brother Eli Melch.
Yeah, but there was more, because what my brother told me is that you came to visit with your mother and a cousin that you brought over from Israel. Like, you paid their ticket to come to have a visit in camp.
Oh, to be with me in the summer. Yeah, we spent the summer together.
Yeah, exactly. So then my brother said that's something typical that you would do also. Like, to me, he told me.
Oh, yeah, because
then
I
we
just
thought,
wanted, yeah.
So then he thought maybe it's something. And then in the next month, I could check her out more to see if
I know.
it's
I didn't realize that I was on a display. Not really. I just became really friendly with my sister-in-law Mary. We totally hit it off.
Yeah.
Talked about everything and anything and all our opinions. And then at the end of the summer, I think, I don't know, a friend of mine called me. She's like, yeah, this lady from Holland, she called me about you. She wanted to know who you are. So like the shidduch system, what do parents do? They want to find out about the girl that their son will go out with, because they just want to hear about her and see if it's a good idea. But at the end of the day, something
they call references.
Yeah, they call references. You have a resume. It's like a whole thing. I think it's changing a bit now. It's become a little bit more freelance or whatever. But in our times, like, we relied on it. But obviously, let's say I would meet Melech in a social setting and I would like him, I also would be able to date him and decide if I want to marry him or not. But at the same time, I probably wouldn't go for you then.
Yeah, terrible.
But at the same time, when you're set up with someone, it doesn't mean you must marry them. Like, at the end of the day, once we started going out, like, we just decided between ourselves we
were on our own.
But
that was because we were a little bit older and like maybe
old.
a little
I was
bit...
very old. I was 22.
I know, but a lot of girls date when they're 18, 19, 20, and I was already 23, and I was already
right. I was working for already a few years,
You
like
too.
for 4 years.
So-
our life was sort of in order. We had good jobs.
Yeah, but we were also a little bit we both have our own mind and not so much system minded.
Yeah, so we did our own thing.
Maybe it's maybe not the best example of how it actually the system works, but
it works differently for everyone. Every
True.
family has their own, things, and every person has their own way of doing things. So, Melech called me. I still remember it was on Labor Day, and that's all I'm gonna share. I was on Labor Day, and I spent the whole day with my sisters in Lake George.
Checking me out on Facebook.
Oh, also I was stalking him a little bit on Facebook, checking out some pictures of him. And I thought he was very cute. I remember I'm like, oh, he's so cute. I think I even pinched your cheek on the screen of the computer, and we were all giggling and laughing. It was very cute. And I spent the whole day in Lake George. We rented a boat, and we were flying through the boat with the water and the tubes and whatever. It was a really fun day. And he called me and he said, hi, I got your number from my brother. What's up? How are you? Do you want to go out? When do you want to go out? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I have college tomorrow, so maybe the next day. And then he said, where do you want to go? And I'm like, I still remember, what did I say?
You don't care.
I said, whatever floats your boat.
And that's what I said.
No, we won't say whatever you thought after, but okay.
Yeah, so then we went on a few dates.
We have to go details. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Where did we go on our first date? We don't remember. Oh, we went
That
to...
was bowling.
No. We went to that hotel, like the rooftop place.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So, we're not going to say the answer to this question now, but people could message us or email us. How many dates do you think me and Elimelech went on before we decided to get engaged?
And the family's not allowed to answer because they already know.
Yeah, if you know, then you're not allowed to answer. But if you don't know, you have to guess.
To guess.
Yeah. So you might think that, like, in the world at large, people date for a few years before they decide to get engaged
They go on
and
vacation,
get married,
they
and
have
they live
children.
together, they move in together, all kinds of steps until they actually tie the knot. And we didn't date for very long before we decided that we wanted to get married. And people might think that that's
It's messed up.
it's extreme. And I also never thought that I would date for that short, but
So far it worked out.
I think also when we were dating, we were very focused on a few things. who we are, our personalities, our future life that we want, the kind of life we want to have, the kind of way we want to raise our families, and our whole like view on life. That's all we were talking about. And
yeah, there's a lot of talking going on, and like a date is a little bit different. And also, your focus at that moment is not to see can you have fun with that person, but more do you see her as your wife? Do you see her as the mother of your children? Do you see somebody you spend the rest of your life with? So that focus is very much on there. And also, there's online, you can Google it, the 36 questions to love. Like these 36 questions, if you ask them, you're very likely to fall in love with that person, or the opposite, you already really know, no, this is not the person I want to share with. And that's really what you're doing. Not that we knew those 36 questions, but those are the kind of questions. Those are the questions that were spoken about. And then once those things line up, you're very likely to end up. And then, I feel like we're still dating each other in that sense. You know what I'm saying?
I know. No, but I think also like, as soon as it's not that I hadn't dated other people before Melech, and Melech also dated other people before he dated me, but as soon as I met him, first of all, he had, a few days before he met me, he had rented an apartment 2 doors down from where I was living, my parents' house. So that was funny, because when people ask us how we met, I just say we were neighbors, because that's the easy story, right? But right away, I knew that you were going to marry me. That, like, I knew right away. There wasn't, and it doesn't always happen to everybody.
And it wasn't because it was love at first sight, but there was a click.
I don't think the word love is the right word, because, like, even when I got engaged, I thought to myself, am I in love? Not really. Like, I didn't feel that, like, feeling that I had a few months later when I was marrying you. That was like, okay, I knew that I deeply and immensely respected and loved you very much. But I knew in all the fiber of my being that you were the right person for me to marry. Mm-hmm. I felt comfortable with you. I felt accepted by you. I could be myself in front of you. Like all the things that measure up to foundation for a relationship. Yeah. And we also, you said before, I feel like I'm talking a lot today. Yeah, you were saying before that it's not necessarily if it's someone you could have fun with, but I don't think that's true, because it is important to have fun with the person.
Oh, no, for sure. But that's obviously that's very important. But once I think the bottom line is,
what are superficial things that like people told you are important, and then you're like, that's not important. Like even like religious things that people told me, like, oh, it's really important that he prays with a minyan 3 times a day. That's a really important thing. Like it's a make it or break it in a marriage. And it didn't so much talk to me. I didn't care so much about it. I didn't even know if you did or if you didn't matter to me so much. And now as a married person, I could say it really is not what makes or breaks your marriage. No. And it only will make or break a marriage if you decide to.
Yeah. Now I think the bottom line is what you really much are able to realize within such a short period of dating is whether you hope to find out if you have the same wavelength, if you're on the same frequency. Because if you're on the same frequency, and even if you sometimes disagree on certain points, but because you're on the same frequency, at least you can talk about it. Yeah. And you can say, hey, okay, 1 second. Okay, you wanted to get it green. I want it to be black. Okay, fine. No problem. It can be green.
You know what was one of the most interesting things for me to discover after we got married was that sometimes we didn't have the same opinion. And at first I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? We don't agree. We don't have the same opinion about this person or this thing. I know what you're thinking in your head. Like, what does that mean? And I've learned that it's actually a gift when we don't always agree. We don't have to have the same...
disagree.
Oh, you hate that line.
Because you're in the middle of a discussion, you're in the middle of like getting your way, and you're like, okay, fine, we'll disagree. We agree to disagree. I'm like, all right, there.
You just want to go on and on with the conversation. I know. Okay, but no, in general, but it's okay. And I sometimes say this to you. It's okay if I have a different opinion than you. That's a gift. No, but it's even sometimes like ideas or ideas about people. Well, you're quicker to judge than I am.
I'm usually right.
I'm more kind and loving. But yeah, so it was very interesting dating Elimelech. He was really funny.
Yeah, we had fun.
We did, and we did some terrible misdeeds. We walked together down the street before we were engaged.
That's not allowed.
It's terrible. So when in our communities, sometimes we keep it private before we announce our engagement, so that if it doesn't work out, like no harm is done.
Embarrassment to the family.
I think now it's like less strict, but anyways, so we took the train to the city, and my mother insisted that we shouldn't walk together to the train.
So till the end of the block.
So
of your
we
mom.
walked on two sides of the street, and then on the corner we're like,
All
right, and then we just walked to the train, which it's not such a big deal now in hindsight. I don't know. Would you care if Mendel walked down the street with the girl that he's dating? No,
absolutely not.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting when our kids date.
Yeah.
Whatever, it wasn't such a big deal. But Melech is showing me that it's time to end, but I think there's so much more to share.
Yeah, we have many more podcasts to come. If we tell everything now, then there's nothing to talk about.
Okay,
next
so
time.
you guys need to message us. How many times do you think we dated before we got engaged? But also, how many hours was every date?
No,
They were very okay. They were very long dates. Sometimes a little too long.
Too long?
Yeah. I'm sick and tired of you. Oh,
Already.
One last myth that people told us before we got married. You want to share it?
You say it. Your brother told it to you, not me.
Not my brother.
Yes,
everyone, my mother, everybody was telling it to me. That if you talk too much before you get married.
But you're not supposed to.
No.
Yeah.
No, in general. If you talk too much before you get married, you'll have nothing to talk about when you get married. I don't know who made
that your parents and your mother didn't know you.
No, but I'm saying, like, who made up this myth? It's just like this thing that people say, if you talk too much before you get married, you'll have nothing to say after you get married.
The myth like this, if you talk too much when you're not supposed to be talking, you won't have something to talk about when you are supposed to.
I don't know exactly what it
your
is.
Brother told you.
No, that's something else. Anyways, to cut a long story short, I think that we are married for
13 years, almost 14 years.
No,
whatever,
13 years. Did we ever not have what to talk about?
Not that I remember.
All right, peeps.
All right.
I hope that we didn't offend anybody. And if we did offend you, check your privilege.
Yeah, your white privilege.
Whatever privilege you have. Because it could be that it's not about us, but it's about you, your jealousy,
Stop
your insecurity. All right. We love you all. You guys are awesome. Our fans are amazing. Because we have so many of them.
Shout out. No, I'm joking.
Shout out to everyone InCan.com for all your CBD needs. We always give them a shout out. We are big supporters of InCan. And good news, Dutch people. You can order InCan from United States and they will ship to you. And we will see if we can get a promo code for Dutch people who want to experiment in CBD.
Say no to drugs.
Yeah, CBD is not drugs. And InCan.com for all your CBD needs. Relaxation and tranquility is at your doorstep. And
right. Peace out. Thank you so much for joining our podcast today.
We hope you enjoyed our couple of thoughts and join us again for our next episode. If you have any comments or questions about anything that we discussed today, you are welcome to email us at acoupleofthoughts2008@gmail.com. And we wrote 2008 because that's the year that we got married. So, anyways, yes, join us again and peace out. The cover song that we have playing in the background is Modeh Ani Kol Boker from Omer Adam, a song that we love to play for our family and just gives us drive and energy in our service to Hashem and our thankfulness for everything that we have in our lives. So we hope you enjoyed that song as well.
דע לך, שמודה